Hello, and welcome back to Insightful Conversations with Dawna. I hope that you all have had a wonderful week since I was in Ecuador last week. If you caught my show there, I am back in Montana. I just got back late last night, and it was just an incredible experience and trip. And I hope that you have put it on your bucket list to go there sometime, because it was really the land, the people, the spiritual experience of doing a ceremony with the local indigenous Canary people on top of the mountain as the spring equinox came into perfect balance, and then now spring in the northern hemisphere, and everything is beautiful and coming alive. And it's a time that flowers are beginning to bloom, and buds are coming out on the trees, getting ready to come into leaves, and it's a renewal time, right? And we have Easter, and if you're, depending on what faith you are, there's so many different celebrations around spring and the renewal after laying dormant, so to speak, during the winter. Everything becomes new again. And so what are you doing to transform your life, to make it closer to what your dreams are and closer to what you want your life to be? I have been working really, really hard this last year, especially to transform myself and my life to be a better person, to be a better friend, to be a better mother, to be a better grandmother, to be a better, just a better person in general. And so what are you doing better for myself above everyone, right? We talked about, I gave you a challenge a couple weeks ago about looking yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and saying, I love you, and seeing how that felt. What came up for you? Did you have resistance? Did something come up for you that you wrote about? Look at that from compassion, from love for yourself, because that's how we get past things. That's how we heal. That's how we grow. That's how we improve. And that's how we get closer to having the life of our dreams. And you deserve that, as do I. We all deserve to have our dreams come true. We all deserve to feel loved and be loved and feel valued and cherished and have good relationships. But it begins with the person that you look at in the mirror. It begins with yourself. You have to have love for yourself. You have to have love and respect for yourself in order to give and receive love from other people. You have to be that high quality person if you want to attract a high quality person to match you. And so where at in your relationships are you seeing that maybe it's not lining up? Are you setting healthy boundaries? Or are you letting people walk all over you because you want them to like you? And so you're being a people pleaser. Or you're attracting people that tell you that you're being unreasonable or selfish because you set boundaries and you say no to doing what they want you to do. There's nothing wrong with setting healthy boundaries. There's nothing wrong with saying no. Someone once told me, no is a complete sentence. And that is so, so true. No is a complete sentence. And you don't owe anybody an explanation. If you want to go work out and you have signed up for a class to go work out at 10 o'clock, and somebody wants you to do something for them at 10 o'clock, you don't have to explain to them what you're doing. You can just say, I'm sorry, I'm already busy at that time. I can help you at a different time. But we don't owe people an explanation. It's not, your life is not for someone else to judge. And I know we live in a society that seems to think that with all the tabloid and news magazines that aren't really news, they judge. I would not want to be a celebrity based on all the things that they have to go through, all the scrutiny. The women that, if they have an ounce of fat, even if they're size 2, they get just ridiculed and criticized. How awful that our society is so focused on achieving a certain look that is not really achievable in order to be okay. I mean, take Lady Gaga's Super Bowl performance here a few years ago. She was totally slammed because she had a little bit of a belly, but I wouldn't even say she had any. Compared to most people out there, she has a great body. And I could not believe all of the negativity. And from some of these people that were slamming her, I just want to go, have you looked in the mirror? Because some of them were these big guys with big guts. And it's like, why are you judging someone else when you're not expecting them to be perfect when you're not? And that goes back to, let's be compassionate. Let's have love for ourselves first. And when we love ourselves and we accept ourselves exactly how we are, which is not perfect, and that's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. It's normal. We are not going to be perfect in this life. That's not the reason that we have this life. The reason we have this life is to learn. And I believe it's to learn that we're supposed to be loved. And it starts with loving ourselves. And then we have more to give and share with others. So Ecuador, oh my goodness. I was in the Andes Mountain. I got to see the Amazon River, and it was just magical is probably the best way I can describe it. And the people that I got to meet, the group that were there was just phenomenal people. And I feel very, very honored and very lucky to have met them. You got to listen to one of the fabulous people, Dawna, last week on my show. And if you didn't catch that show, about the last 10, 15 minutes, Dawna jumped on. She happened to be walking past where I was doing my show, and I grabbed her, and she's just such a delightful soul. You'll want to go listen to her as well. And speaking of guests, I have my first official guest in 2 weeks on April 14th. I get the incredible pleasure of talking with Jim Onek, who is the CEO of Laser Therapy Services, LLC. And he is the inventor. He's a scientist. He's an inventor, engineer. He created this laser. It's called an EPOCH laser, EPOCH laser. You can go look it up. And it uses light therapy to reduce inflammation and pain. And I can tell you it works. So I usually get a lot of tension in my neck and shoulder area. And he was doing some training with those people that wanted to learn more about it and experience it. And I had the pleasure of getting to do this with him and one of his associates, Kelly, who's a phenomenal lady as well. And I hope to have her on sometime in the near future also. But Jim was showing us this laser, and we got to do treatments on each other as a way of training, and they were doing treatments. So I had this done, and it one time for about 10 minutes, and my neck and shoulder has not been tight and hurt ever since. And it's been over a week since that was done. So that was really cool. And it makes me very excited because all I can think of is all the people that have pain, that are suffering in some area of their body, that this laser, which is simply light, can go in and help without having to take a bunch of medications. How fantastic is that? He also had the vision of creating that Clinica Linda in Ecuador, there at Tosa Blue Mountain where we were, to provide free medical care for some of the local indigenous people, as well as he had one of these lasers there to treat people. A lot of these indigenous people, they work the fields. They're bent over all day long, and they have back pain, and they have leg pain, and they have neck pain, and so on. And how amazing to offer something like this to those people free of charge. And that's what that's what some of the money goes to when you sign up for any trainings with Shri and Kara. Their Monday night, they call it Monday Night Magic, where they're going over different subjects, different trainings, and they're all phenomenal. And it's a suggested amount, but it's really donation, and they're giving it to a couple different charities right now. But one of them is this Clinica Linda, which I just think it's such a beautiful cause. And they've been feeding a lot of these poor people for a while through the donations of people signing up to do these educational courses on spirituality and awakening and so on. But check them out, shriandkira.com, SRI and KIRA.com. Phenomenal people with so much knowledge and experiences. And I just have learned so much in the last couple of years. And this is their sanctuary, Tosa Blue Mountain, that I went to in Ecuador, and they just have a true, genuine heart for service, for helping educate people, for giving back, for helping people awaken spiritually, and remembering who they are and the potential. Because we all have so much potential that we're not even tapped into, that we don't even realize that we have. Right? And how does it feel when someone believes in you even before you believe in you, right? That's powerful. And one of the things that they like to say is sincerity, love, and presence. Having that sincerity to be a kind, compassionate, loving source or being. Having love, which starts with yourself. So look in the mirror, tell yourself you love you every day, and keep going until it really is true. And you really do love and accept yourself. Your world, your life will transform positively. And then present, show up, be present in whatever you're doing, be present. Don't be on your phone when you're hanging out with your kids or grandkids or friends, even. When you go to dinner with a friend, be there, be present. I think our phones have, I know I use mine a lot. I'm trying to be better about not being on it so much, especially when I'm around other people, because relationships are the most important. Human to human contact, having that relationship, human to human, is so important. And that's why I'm doing this show. I'm really grateful and appreciative that you are watching this and that we're connecting, because that's what I want to do. I want to add some sunshine to your life. I want to add some light and positivity and share incredible information like this epoch laser and bring on fascinating, brilliant people like Jim, which you'll get to hear him in 2 weeks. So make sure that you set it on your calendar to tune in, or make sure that you catch that show after, if you can't catch it live, because you definitely will want to hear what he has to say. And like I said, I'm so excited about that. So I've given you some challenges over the last few weeks. How are you doing with those? And do you need a reminder, or maybe you didn't watch them yet? So besides looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself that you love you, I also ask you to replace one soda if you drink soda, and I really hope you don't, but if you do, replacing one a day with water. Or if you drink more than 1 cup of coffee, replacing one of your cups of coffee with just water. Try drinking 2 big glasses of water first thing in the morning. You'll be amazed at how it jumpstarts your body, your brain. It turns it on because you've not had any water for 6 to 8 hours or so, depending on how much you sleep. And your body's a little bit dehydrated. So drinking that water first thing really helps to jumpstart your body, your brain, your cells, and get you going for the day. It really does work. And if you struggle at all with irritable bowel, constipation, any of that stuff, consuming water first thing in the morning really helps get everything going. Now, I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just sharing what has worked for me and what has worked for many people that I know. I've had several people that have told me that they used to only have a bowel movement like every 3 days or every other day, or or maybe only one a day. You should have one every meal. So if you eat 3 meals, you should have 3 of them in a day. Otherwise, all that food is just sitting in your gut, not going anywhere, fermenting, and you can have a lot of toxins then built up in your gut. Water really helps to flush. And that fact, that's one of water's main jobs, is to detox our cells. And so when you're going to the bathroom on a regular basis and you're having bowel movements on a regular basis, at least a couple of days, you are flushing those toxins out of your body, which is a good thing, because then you're not holding on to those toxins and it's not creating more inflammation and pain and so on. So water is super important. And I know I've talked a bit about water, But our bodies, oh my goodness, our bodies are 70% water. When was the last time that you went to a doctor and they talked to you about water? I love and appreciate doctors. Thank goodness they are there if you need surgery. They know what to do. They know how to cut you open just so you don't die. They know how to go in and fix things, right? To help your body heal. I appreciate doctors, and I'm not saying anything about them negative. That said, with everything, you don't know what you don't know. Doctors are taught through medical schools that are funded by pharmaceutical companies with the protocols of treating ailments with prescription drugs. Now, not every doctor follows that to a T. Some will talk to you about your nutrition and what you're eating and tell you that you could reduce your blood pressure or blood sugar or your prediabetes or your cholesterol through diet and exercise. But many don't. They would rather write you a prescription. And they're under a lot of pressure to write a lot of prescriptions. And again, I am not putting them down. They are doing the best they can with what they know and with the tools that they've been given. And so many of them are so limited on the time that they have to spend with you. You know, they're told in some of these bigger corporations, they are told not to take more than 10 minutes. That's sad because most people need more than 10 minutes to really try to get at the root of whatever is ailing them. You don't have prediabetes or diabetes type 2. That doesn't just naturally come on as you get older. It is diet related. It's 100% preventable. Type 2 diabetes, 100% preventable. It is diet related. And water plays a big factor in our bodies because our bodies are 70% water. Why is that not talked about more? I've talked to so many people and I've asked them, have you ever gone to a doctor's office where they, on the form that you fill out, they ask you, how much water do you drink? I've not. And I've been to many, many, many doctors. If you don't know my story, I spent almost 3 years going to just about every specialist and doctor you can think, type of doctor you can think of, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Because seemingly overnight, I started having debilitating migraines. And then I had a lot of fatigue, and there were days I could hardly get out of bed. And that is so not like me because I've always been a very high energy person. And you can ask anyone that really knows me or has spent any time around me. And I'm usually given a hard time about being like the Energizer Bunny. And I have to work out pretty much daily because I do have a lot of energy in my body. And I like that. I like having high energy. So imagine being a person that has always had a lot of high energy to having, it's a struggle to get out of bed because I was so fatigued and all I wanted to do was just sleep. but I had kids and I didn't want to miss their life and their activities. So, and I was working and, all of that. Um, so I went through all these different tests and they could not tell me what was wrong. They told me I had chronic fatigue, I had fibromyalgia, probably the beginning stages of lupus, because basically all my blood tests came back that I was healthy and normal, except I was having body pain, aches, pain. I was having short term memory issues. I was having debilitating migraines. I was having so much fatigue and just not feeling myself by any means. And so, if you are there, if you are struggling with that, my heart goes out to you. Please keep fighting, keep looking for answers. Don't let them just put you on pain pills and sleeping pills. Don't miss out on you, on your life. Please. There is another way. I don't have any of those things anymore. I don't get migraines. I have high energy, as you can tell. I don't have chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia. And I certainly don't have the beginning stages of lupus, thankfully. And those are all autoimmune. And they don't fully understand what those are yet. They are something that didn't exist 50 years ago. Interesting, huh? So what's changed? A lot of things have changed. Mainly the chemicals that they spray onto plants to try to prevent weeds and on vegetation. And we didn't, before that, there wasn't all these pesticides. Pesticides are very harmful. If you have a child that has ADD, ADHD, PTSD, autism, be really, really careful what you're feeding them. Red dye, dyes in general are make their symptoms worse. So it makes the ADD, it makes them harder to focus. Autism, PTSD, it makes all of that worse. So look at the labels because you don't want to be feeding your child that, and you don't want to consume that if you struggle with any of those. Pesticides are poisons and they cross the blood-brain barrier, so they can impact our brain, which is why they make those things worse. So whenever possible, buy organic and use healthy alternatives to getting the pesticides off. Pesticides are oil-based, so you can't wash them off with tap water. Not going to happen. And you don't really want to use tap water to clean the fruits and vegetables anyway, because what you're doing is adding that chlorine and any toxins that are in the tap water into your fruits or vegetables. So you want to use some sort of vegetable soak and because you don't want to consume those. They're not healthy at all. And I think that we have a lot of ailments as a result of all the toxins that are in our air, in our water, in the ground, in the things that we feel are healthy, that we are consuming, but they really have these toxins in them that just, heavy metals. And that's the other thing. If you are struggling with a variety of symptoms and they can't figure them out, get tested for heavy metals. If you have fillings in and they're silver, or you were told that they were silver fillings, they're really 50% mercury. I found that out the hard way because a lot of my problem was I had heavy metal toxicity. I had 4 metals that were extremely elevated. So go get tested for that because then you can get those levels reduced to where your body is able to function at a better, more optimal level. And that's my goal, is to help you reduce some of your suffering and function at a better level, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. I'm very passionate about helping you and about helping share my experiences and the things that I struggled with and have overcame to help even one person. If that's all it does is help one person, it's worth it. So if you want to know more, if you want to talk to me about health and nutrition and wellness, I'm a certified holistic health coach. I did go back to school to study the body, to study health, wellness, and nutrition holistically, because I believe our bodies are incredible, amazing creations. We produce life in our bodies, right? You get a cut, your skin regrows. You break a bone, it regrows. Our bodies can heal from absolutely anything, pretty much, given the right environment. And a lot of that has to do with the nutrients that we put in our body and the water that we replace that 70% that's in our body with, right? We've got all this water in our body. So what are you replacing it with? Are you replacing it with acid covered up as soda with sugar and dyes and chemicals? That is not doing anything beneficial to your body. I know you may be addicted to it. I know you may go, but it tastes so good, Dawna. Yeah, but it's poison. And what it does to the insides of your body is not anything beneficial. So try cutting back even one a day and replacing it with more water. Your body will thank you. And ultimately, it would be really, really beneficial for your body to cut out soda altogether. And if you have little kids, please don't give it to them. Before 1978, there were zero cases of type 2 diabetes in under 18-year-olds. You can look it up. I'm not making this up. Now it is the fastest growing age group. It's 100% preventable. Let me say this again. Type 2 diabetes is 100% preventable. Under 18-year-olds should not have it. And yet they do. Why is that? It's because of all the sugar, the dyes, the chemicals that are in the foods that get promoted to kids. The soda, the ice creams, the cereals. Everything is so full of sugar. It's overloaded. Those little bodies can't handle it. and they end up with diabetes. How sad. And I know it's easy to go through and grab the cheap dollar menu items, but it's not doing any benefits to that child or to you. So going back to loving yourself more, right? Love yourself more. What are you doing to love yourself more? Well, one of the things, of course, is when we're 70% water, is drinking more water, clean, healthy water, and paying attention to what we eat. Another challenge that I gave you the last couple weeks was about sugar, limiting your sugar, cutting it out if possible, even for a week, to optimal, and write about that, or at least greatly reduce it. And I just went over why sugar is something you want to reduce. It leads to type 2 diabetes, and it's not what we want, right? So I did have a question come through on my email that is on this topic. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. And it's from Marla, who is from Wisconsin. And she asks, what sweeteners do I use, or would I recommend using if not sugar? Such as in baking, she said, like, and oatmeal for like breakfast. Great question, Marla. And thank you for asking it. I appreciate it. And I appreciate that you're watching and listening. Honey, raw honey is a good one. Pure maple syrup. So make sure it's pure, that it's not fake, because the fake stuff has added color, dyes, which we want to avoid, and chemicals. So you want pure 100% maple syrup. Agave syrup is all right. I don't really like brown rice syrup personally, so I don't use that. I think the more natural, like the pure maple syrup and the raw honey, are the best options. That's just my personal opinion. So there you go, Marla. And for asking the question, I am going to send you a 1-card reading from, I have the Cards of Clarity from Shri and Kira that are amazing. And so I will pull you a card and I will email you a reading for that. So thank you. And then I also had a question from Amy. And Amy is from California. And she asked if there's any energy products or pre-workout powders that I use or that I recommend as being good and healthy. And if so, what's the favorite brand? So I'm not a big, I struggle with pre-workout. When I was training for a fitness show 5 years ago, I really struggled with the pre-workouts and the powders. In fact, I still struggle with powders. I'm not sure if they put some sort of filler in or just what, but my system just does not, my body just does not like them. And so I had a really hard time finding a pre-workout that does not use sucralose, which is basically rat poisoning. It's a chemical sweetener and it's not healthy for the body at all. Or they use just sugar, raw or just regular white sugar, which is not healthy either. And so I really had to look at labels, and that's what I recommend. I don't have a brand per se that I would recommend. I do like taking some of the different amino acids, and you can find them in capsule form rather than powder. And for me, that seems to be a little bit easier on my body, on my system, than the powders. Again, I don't know if they put some sort of filler in that my body just rejects. It's so interesting how the cleaner I eat, the cleaner my body gets, along with the spiritually awakening and raising of my vibration. And talk about vibrations being high, Tosa Blue Mountain, and being around Sri and Kira, the vibration is off the charts. It's so amazing how the frequency and how high it is there in Ecuador where their sanctuary is. But back to the sub pre-workouts and energy drink supplements. Most of those little packets that you get, like at Costco or at other stores for putting in your water bottle to give you more energy, most of those have, again, like dyes and chemicals in them. If you can't pronounce the word and you don't know what it is, don't consume it. It's not something natural that your body is going to benefit from. So pay attention. So Amy, I would highly recommend that you go to whether it's like a nutrition store, a workout store. Complete Nutrition, I think, is one. There's GNC, there's others. And talk to someone that works there and tell them that you want a product that does not have any dyes or sugar or artificial sweeteners in them. Stevia is the only thing that would be acceptable. And I forgot to mention that when Marla had asked about sweeteners. Stevia is a plant, it's a leaf, and that is a good sweetener. You just need to make sure how they process it, because sometimes they don't use the whole leaf, and as with anything, they found a way to make a chemical that mimics it. So they call it stevia, but it's not necessarily. So you want to look for ones that use whole leaf. So in the pre-workout supplements, I would look at, I don't have a brand, like I said, but I would look at those and make sure. I do have a girlfriend that sells Arbonne, and they have some energy. I believe they use ginseng and some caffeine and all. But again, you need to look at what the ingredients are, and be careful about natural flavor. I've learned recently that is typically a chemical makeup and is not natural. So yeah, just be careful about that. So thank you, both Amy and Marla, for those questions. And again, Amy, I will also send you a reading. I will email you. I'll pull a card for you from the Cards of Clarity. And for those of you out there that want to know how can you ask me a question and how can you get a 1-card reading as a result, email me at dawna4fitness@gmail.com. That's DAWNA, the number 4, the word fitness, FITNESS @gmail.com, and put in the subject line, show question, and I will answer your question on my show live. And then I will email you 1 card. And between the cards, I have Cards of Clarity from Sri and Kira. I also like the Spirit animal oracle cards, which those are magical. I also like the Moonology cards. I have probably at least a dozen decks of different cards to pull from. And I usually, when I'm doing readings for clients, or even sometimes if somebody just has some questions for me, I will tap in and see what resonates for them and their situation, and go with the deck that I feel called to use for them. So that's how I do it. And that's what I will do for both Amy and Marla. So thank you, ladies. So what has come up for you? Have you journaled at all? Did you take any of my challenges where you drank more water, replaced either a soda or a coffee a day with more water? Did you look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you? And have you been continuing to do that? Are you eating more fresh fruits and vegetables? Are you journaling about all of this and seeing where your resistance is and seeing where that comes up? Have you gone into Shri and Kira's page, shriandkira.com, and checked out all the free information they have there to support you in your journey? They have a fantastic forgiveness practice. I think I mentioned this before. And it's really cool. And it's a 7-day process. And it's well worth it. It's hard. The first time I did it, I had to start over a few times because I had a lot of resistance. And it was mainly at forgiving myself, which I think is normal. We hold ourselves, we're conditioned to think that we should be perfect and that there's something wrong with us if we're not. And that's not true. That is not true. You're not, I'm not. None of us are perfect. And we're not going to be. We're not meant to be. But that does not take away the value that you have. You are unique. You are special. And you have something amazing to offer this world. You're amazing. You have unique gifts and talents that the world needs. Be you. Do you. What if, and I can't wait to have Jim Onek on in 2 weeks, but what if he would have given up his research, his tweaking, his studying, his education? He's a brilliant man with a brilliant mind that was able to create this incredible light laser that is going to help so many people. It's exciting. And I feel very honored that I got to meet him and I got to experience it. And I got to meet Kelly, his, as I don't know, partner, but technician. And Kelly is amazing. And her and I instantly connected. And I am so looking forward to getting to spend more time with all of these fantastic people that I met when I was in Ecuador, because it was really a magical experience and just enhanced my own awakening, my own spirituality, my own spiritual gifts. And I just want to share those with you and everyone. So what can you do this week to take care of you? It's Easter. There typically are going to be family get-togethers and gatherings, and maybe some of those are going to push your buttons. It's so easy to fall back into those roles when we get around family or even long time friends that expect us to be a certain way because that's what we were maybe 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? They try to put us in this box of expectation of how we're going to be, of how we're going to behave, and what their assumptions of who we are today. But I don't know about you. Chances are you're not the same person you were a year ago, let alone 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, so on, right? You've been through different life experiences that have changed you, hopefully for the better. You get to choose how life challenges impact you. You can become bitter, or you can learn from them and view them as a lesson to progress you on your path towards something bigger and better and greater. I've been through so many traumas in my childhood on up, and I've made lots of mistakes, and I picked not the healthiest relationships. But I'm learning, I'm growing, and each one was valuable in what I learned as a result. I like to think of it as being tempered. You know, when they take that piece of metal and they put it in the fire and they pound it and they heat it and they have to pound it some more to refine it, to get it to be that beautiful sword, right? That's just shiny and bright and sharp and this masterpiece. That's how we are. And we all have different things to go through and different lessons to learn. But it's our choice. If we choose to be happy, if we choose to learn from our experiences and grow in compassion and love and acceptance and forgiveness and look for ways to have and be better, to be better today than I was yesterday, and tomorrow to be better than I was today. Our attitude, our emotions are the only things we can control. We can't control our circumstances. We can't control the other people around us, how they're going to interpret even what we say, right? So don't take things personally. I know it's hard. I know it's so hard. And I still catch myself from time to time doing that. Believe me, I don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing with you some of the vast experience that I've had learning, some of the things that I've been through, and the lessons that I've learned as a result, so that maybe it can give you hope. Maybe it can give you some information to help you have a better life, to help you suffer less. Drinking more water is a very simple thing to do, right? It will improve your life, your body. And if you want more information, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. And I'm so appreciative and excited about talking to the people that have reached out to me. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Time is precious. You can never get back the time that you've already spent. The last few seconds, you can never get those exact ones back, right? So what are you doing to make the most out of your life? To be more loving to you? Because remember, you of all people deserve your love, your forgiveness, your kindness, and your compassion. It starts here. It starts with you. So as we wrap up today, bring a hand to your heart and connect with your heart and soul. And breathe. Breathe deep. Ave. Do the Ave sound breath, Shri and Kira teach. And it's just that simple. You put a hand to your heart, connect your heart and soul. Take a deep breath in through your nose, Ave. Letting it out with a big sigh. Just feel your body release tension. Let's do that one more time. Inhale through the nose, Ave. Exhale. Connect with your beautiful soul. You are a soul, spiritual being having a physical experience. You are not your body. And if you have an illness, you are not your illness. So don't make it your identity, please. You can overcome whatever it is. I believe in you, and I know you can. And if you need help, if you need ideas, if you need suggestions, I'm here. And I'll be here next Wednesday, same time, same place. And I hope that you will tune in. And I'm working on getting a variety of guests lined up. You won't want to miss them, especially in 2 weeks, Jim Onak. All right, lovely people. I am sending you all so much love and light. Shine bright. Be sunshine in the world. We need more love. We need more compassion. We need more kindness. It doesn't cost anything to do that. And start with you, because you deserve it. And you matter. And you are enough. And until then, I send you lots of love. Namaste. Have a wonderful week. And know I'm here.